Well, as you know, Joe Biden became the president of the United States of America earlier today, and Kamala Harris became the vice president.
So what happens next for the new administration and for the country?
Here to talk about the meaning of today is Beloit College political professor Philip Chen. Philip, good to see you again.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So what are some of your thoughts from today?
So I think what we saw today was a pretty normal inauguration day, all things considered, considering that we're in the midst of a pandemic, right? We saw a very sort of standard socially distanced event, but the same sort of the things we've come to expect from most inaugurations, talking about unity, trying to bring the country together, and laying out a vision for what the Biden-Harris administration will be focusing on in their first few years in office.
You know, we remain a very divided country. 74 million people voted for President Trump. And so even though the theme of the inaugural address was unity, what does President Biden have to do now to try to unify the country?
I mean, I think that this is something that I've been, trying to push to my students and to a lot of people, is that there's only so much that one person, one president or one vice president can do to bring that kind of unity together. The way that the country might be able to come out of this kind of polarization is ultimately with more leadership from members of both parties being sort of more visible in that kind of bipartisan or at least nonpartisan type of behavior. So when elites start to talk about how they are working together, when they start to compromise, when they start to sort of bring down the heat of the rhetoric, then we might start to see that trickle down into voters and into the general public. But until we see sort of a more widespread endorsement of this idea of unity from both sides of the political aisle, I don't know that there's a lot that the Biden administration can do. It doesn't mean they shouldn't try. It just means that we need to be looking for sort of a more concerted and wide-ranging endorsement of this idea from elites on both sides.
And after 240 some years, we have a female vice president.
We do.
Pretty significant.
Incredibly significant. Probably, I would say, the most significant piece of what happened today.
Why is it so important?
I mean, I think it's important because we have a system that has systematically and strategically kept women out of power, and what we're seeing is sort of the not the end goal, but the first steps of women ascending to positions of sort of national power within the executive branch. It's a foundational moment in that sense. You know, Joe Biden is a president in the mold of basically every other past president, and Kamala Harris is a vice president who sets just a different standard for what that office means. We talk a lot in political science about what we call descriptive representation, the value that comes from seeing somebody like you holding office. And I just think that, that is such an important piece of what we're seeing today with Kamala Harris, is that we are finally seeing some descriptive representation within the executive branch.
A lot of pomp and circumstance today, and now the heavy lifting begins. We'll see what happens. Philip, thanks for being with us again today.
Of course, happy to be here.
Philip, always great to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Great to be here. Thank you.